Intro or no?
You are now.
I am. All right. Let's give a special shout out to our good friend Joshua Hanlon from Beyond the Brick last week. That was a refreshing show to do with such inspired guests. We've gained a whole new appreciation for Lego and Lego collectors. Today's guest is another breath of fresh air. He's extremely popular on Instagram. As part of the Rip, Pack, and Slab crew, they really take the mantra of Rip, Pack, Slab to heart.
So while we're waiting for the crew to come on, I think they're having some technical difficulties. So we'll just give a little bit of an intro and give them a bit of time to come on. So first of all, for those of you who don't know, Peter Packman and the Meme James are two hobby stalwarts on the Instagram point of view, like for hobby content. Today's show is going to feature Peter Packman, like Kent said. I love that content. It's funny. It makes me laugh. I look forward to it almost every day. His content speaks volumes about the importance of family, the importance of loving the hobby, giving back to children, kids in the community, and also, of course, he makes sarcastic and not so subtle jabs at content like the retail issue, retail controversies, eBay excuses. He's even got this spoof where he talks about he's an employee of Target, and there's just a whole bunch of content that's awesome. So while we wait for them to come on,
I think we got him there.
Here, so I think we have Peter. Here we go. There's Peter, and it came on a little bit late, so I'm going to do some intro music. So because I wanted to do this at the beginning, but you weren't here yet. So let's just hear some of the stuff that Peter and his crew create. So that's just a small taste of some music that the RPS crew likes to produce. So I found them through my brother, who was on Clubhouse, and he's like, "You got to check out this guy, Peter Packman." I'm like, "Peter who? Peter what?" And he's like, "You got to check out this guy." So I looked him up right away, and I went through all of his content right away. So Peter, I can't wait to talk to you more on the show today, and you also have your guest on as well too, right?
Yeah, we got Slabby in the building today, man. Special guest. Slabby in the building. 2/3.
We got 2/3 of the RPS crew, so that's awesome. So let's get into it. So I know I had questions mostly for Peter. So Slabby, feel free to answer as well. And you're a bit off camera. If you want to come on camera more, we can see both of you. And then we can make this a 2-for-1 show. So let's start off with the both of you. How did you get into trading cards?
Well, for us, I think like typical collector started off since we were young. Like Pac-Man always tells the story, us being privileged enough to have a father who was able to take us to card shops, and have them buy cards for us. We're at home ripping packs almost on a daily basis when we were younger. And just from getting older, me personally, I kind of faded away from collecting. Pac-Man never stopped collecting. He pretty much since we were young, he never stopped collecting. For me, I kind of just came back into the hobby around a year and a half ago. But yeah, that's pretty much where it all started, back when we were younger.
Yeah, that's in the nutshell right there.
So tell us a bit about yours, Peter.
That's it. I mean, like Slabby said, it was our dad that really just allowed us to collect. We would go to local card shops, flea markets, any and everywhere, Toys R Us, KB Toy Store. And if we wanted a toy, he'd get us a toy. You know what I mean? I would consider ourselves, we weren't wealthy by any stretch of the imagination, but our parents sacrificed a lot, worked several jobs and their own entrepreneurships just to be able to provide and give us the little. We thought it was a lot back then, you know what I mean? But it really wasn't much, but it was a lot for us. And cards were one of those things, privileges that we were able to have as young kids. And I think more so than just our dad getting into it, getting us into it. It was the players on the cards who I know for me, I wanted to be like. I wanted to be like Penny Hardaway. I wanted to be like Gary Payton. I wanted to be like Michael Jordan, or in some shape, form, or fashion, right? Latrell Sprewell was my favorite basketball player in my PC in middle school and junior high. So I had a whole bunch of Latrell Sprewell cards, and I used to try and chew gum like Latrell Sprewell and walk like Latrell Sprewell, and I couldn't dunk, but when we were on the 6-foot hoops, my tomahawk jam was like Latrell Sprewell. So it was always bigger than life and kind of, you know, what you wanted to be from the art too. Some of the art on these cards, we also collected Marvel cards at the same time. He used to collect Power Ranger cards, Batman cards, just all type, Lion King cards, everything. Jurassic Park cards. So trading cards was always it was always the movies, the artwork, the image. It was always something about it that brought us into it. You know what I mean? That we either saw on TV and then we were able to have a piece of it. So even if we're not living that lifestyle, at least we can, I don't know, imagine and dream and have it in our hands and still have that. So I think that was the biggest part for us for the most part as kids, and why it stuck with us when we were younger too.
You know what I remember is Latrell Sprewell, wasn't he a Seton Hall Pirate?
Sprewell went to Arkansas. Was it Arkansas State?
Arkansas?
Yeah, with Robert Ory. Reverend Robert Ory went to school.
Arkansas, right?
Arkansas.
Okay, for some reason, I just remember Seton Hall really well back then. I could be wrong. I'm not a pro at the NCAA circuit.
Right.
I just want to say hi to Indigenous Rookie Cards, who's come on. So he's here to see you, Peter. And then he says he wants to run it back in my Chrome 9 Mbappe. So he's got that. So for some of you, I'm surprised when I do this show and when we do the show together that people might not know who you are. So just really quickly, we want to show everyone on, you are the Rip Pack Slab crew. You can find yourselves on Instagram. So let's do a quick share. Let's do a quick share just to make sure people see that they can find you on Instagram. Not Instagram, on Instagram, but also on YouTube.
YouTube, yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of videos here that they've done on YouTube. So please come and check them out and subscribe. The content's amazing. So that's why I want to make sure everyone's aware of that. So I was going to ask you this question, but it's kind of funny because literally Slabby Sosa is right beside you. So I was going to ask you who Slabby Sosa is. So I don't need to do that because he's right there. So tell us who Rip Hamiltops is.
Well, Slabby's my brother. Slabby and I are brothers, and Rip is our cousin. So we're all related, blood related, family related, and all grew up together. And that's who we are. We're family. Before anything, we're family. We're brothers. We may be brothers and cousins, but in our family, as long as you're the same age, you're all brothers. You're all sisters. And then anybody older than you is your uncle. Even if they're your cousin, if they're older than you, they're your uncle. So we go off a little bit different. So we're all brothers. We have a lot of brothers and a lot of sisters. And all of our kids, now we have kids, they're all siblings as well, too. They're not cousins. Even though they live in different households, they're all siblings. So we all, you know how that goes.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to let my buddy Kent take over because he's got some questions as well.
Yeah, so it's super cool to know a former NFLer, let alone your own close relationship. So can you describe that a little bit for us?
Talking about Rip Hamiltops.
Yes, sir.
I guess, this kind of, you go ahead.
Yeah, for us, it's crazy because like Pac said, we grew up together. So, the public sees an NFL star, and a Bay Area legend. But for us, that's like our brother,
Right.
Me and David, we're the same age. We grew up in elementary school competing against each other, high school too, competing against each other. And then Pete, Packman, and John, they have a foundation together, So for us, it's like our brother. So it's kind of a different, we don't kind of see him as that celebrity. He's our loved one, our brother.
Right. Exactly. And I think it's because he's as humble as a lot of these athletes are. Right. When you get to meet some more of these athletes, you'll find out that they're normal human beings. Their lives may seem bigger than life, but in actuality, they're just regular human beings. And I think the surrealist part about it, I think, was I had the opportunity to go to the NFL draft in 2010 when he was drafted. And I think that whole experience of not only seeing him, but a lot of those young kids lives change in the snap of a finger, and for a majority of them, they still didn't get that realization that their lives changed when it changed. Some of them had it before coming into the draft. You know what I'm saying? They had checks and money and all that. You can tell they were already prepared, but a lot of them were like, wow, it still hasn't sunk in yet. I still feel normal. And for Javid, it felt like that his whole career. I never felt like he was in the NFL or bigger than life, or, you know what I'm saying? He also ran in the Olympics in 2016 in the same heat as Usain Bolt at the same time. So all of these experiences we're just proud of him. You know what I mean? We were always just proud of him. All of our family is always just proud of him, as he is for us and everybody in all of our respective roles in life and what we do. You know what I mean? So,
Sure.
But shout out to Rip for definitely all of our kids love being able to say, man, my uncle played in the NFL, and have his card and stuff like that and show highlights. And he was a beast. It wasn't like he played and he didn't play. He played and he dominated for when he played. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely. So what was it like for you guys to actually watch him carrying the ball for the Detroit Lions, man? Was that surreal for you guys to see him just running up there?
I'm not gonna lie, it was surreal. I remember, I was at my parents' house here when I first seen him do his first carry, and I just remember, man, jumping up and down, so excited. It was surreal though, just to see, practically my brother, my sibling, in the NFL. It's something. You see all these people that you don't know in the league, but to finally be in a video game, Madden, and actually playing as your family,
drafting him on fantasy,
drafting him on fantasy, and watching him live on Sundays and Mondays, and like Pac said, he was actually good too, real good. So it was surreal for me.
I flew out to Detroit once. I think they were playing against the Eagles when the Eagles had Vic, and this was in Detroit, and he broke loose for like an 80-yard reception or touchdown run.
Man.
And then when he crossed the goal line, he pointed to us in the crowd. And I had at the time, it was my only son. He was about 5 months at the time. And if you go and watch the video, you can see before the touchdown, my son is in my hand. And then Javid points to us, and I let him go. I let him go, but he's okay. He'll be 12 this year, and he's perfectly fine.
That's good. So,
just for everyone to be aware of, it's Javid Best that Peter and Slabby are talking about. So just in case that wasn't mentioned. So just wanted to point that out. Sorry, go ahead, Kent.
Yeah, I was going to say, it kind of leads me to my next question. So it would be kind of neat for the fans and for the audience that's watching, and for later on when it's watching the replay. Can we get a sense of how much family means to you guys? And we've noticed, in some of the videos for you, Peter, your wife, your daughters are in it. Can you just give us a hint of that?
I mean, that's a great question, first and foremost, and thanks for asking that question. But I mean, you see it, Rip, Packman Slab, we're family before anything. We've been family. We've been doing things together at family reunions and birthday parties for our whole life. We've always wanted. We have other family that we do things with too. We have other cousins. You know what I mean? It's not just a hobby. You know what I mean? That we are. It's just something that we've all found common grounds about. But that for that specific reason, the same reason that the first question you all asked us was what brought us into the hobby, and we said our father did. Right? So we're intentional about bringing our kids into the hobby. My oldest kids don't care about sports cards, but they like Pokemon cards. They like drawing. They like art. There's still aspects of the hobby that they appreciate. And if not, they're still able to create and have fun on camera. But we just find it, we like to collect and do everything in the hobby in the same exact way we did when we were kids. You know what I mean? We like to mimic those same things, collect those same things. We really don't chase after the hype unless we think we can make $1 or something like that. You know what I mean? But other than that, we're just trying to have fun and engage. And we spend enough time in the hobby to where I feel like we have to engage our family, even if it wasn't intentional and it wasn't something they enjoyed too. It just wouldn't be fair for us to put that much time into the hobby without including them when it's so fun. And you know what I mean? It's not just about money for us. It's about smiling, having fun. So we don't rip packs alone. We have to have one of us there together to open a box of cards or be with somebody. And Yeah, the kids, a lot of our kids come up with the content for us too. They write a lot of the jokes, the material, you know what I mean? So it's just cool just to be able to build with them. I think everybody should do more of that. That's another reason why we do it, because we would like for more people to involve their families and their loved ones in the hobby, because it's about the moments and the memories. All these cards can go away at the end of the day. Yeah, I might be hurt. I wish, you know what I mean? I wish I would have still had this box, but I can still tell you about it. And I can still share those experiences, and I still have that knowledge and those memories, and you know what I mean, in those moments. And that's what it's about at the end of the day, you know, because like Slabby always says, all three of us respectively in our own professional careers are able to provide for our families and put food on the table. So we don't need the hobby to do that per se. We just want to enjoy it. And if we're enjoying it, our family has to enjoy it too.
I'm going to show everyone
go for
the video. So let me do that right now, because just to give an idea. So we'll give me 1 sec. We'll share this.
Here's a watch that my grandpa gave me. Here's a key to my car. Take my money. Take my wallet.
So there's an example where your family's involved. And just so everyone knows, RPS does country music too. RPS does country music too. So, sorry, go ahead, Kent. You were going to get into some.
Yeah. So in the video itself, you know, you've mentioned how important it is, because we kind of talked offline the other night, off camera, that is, how important it is, you know, for your daughter to be involved. Like, our show is about diversity and inclusivity, and we want to showcase more women in the hobby. So you follow several prominent female collectors, and you always talk about equality in general. Can you give us a comment on that? Because I think it's a very important message to get out there for people to understand.
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a woman, period, dot blank. The realization with my daughter came to me one day when I was in here, as I always are, and they always pop in here periodically. They have a play area in here. They're always in here with me. And I'm looking up, as I always do, at my toys, my Black Panther toys, and I have some female representation, but not a lot. I'm looking at my card collection. I have some female representation, but not a lot. So I looked at myself as a father. I looked at myself as an educator, as a role model, whatever hats I choose to wear. And I was like, I don't know if I'm really representing this all the right way and living it the right way. So I told myself I wanted to be more intentional and learn more, because I didn't know a lot. So specifically, I wanted to start off with the hobby, because the hobby's passion right now. I love it. Right? It's fun. So I literally went into Google and typed in most popular female card collector or something, or greatest card collector, and this woman named Cindy Dick popped up. And when I started doing research on her, I learned more about I'm not gonna lie, I learned more about certain Black athletes, African American athletes, that I knew nothing about via her page. And I like to consider myself a historian of the hobby. I have a timeline there from 1968 all the way to now, with different companies and all this, and you know what I'm saying, for the hobby. And I did that before learning who she was. Then I studied the hobby after learning who she was from her perspective, and trading cards dated back way further, and I found out a whole lot more. So I just felt like the woman's perspective and intuition and knowledge and experience is so vital in this hobby, as far as telling the stories, making the moments, the memories, and also if you want to be greedy with value, right? If you really want to put value in something, you have to tell its story and really continue to say its name over and over and over. There are true greats. There are women out there, if we're just talking hobby related, who are great, right? But there are women in our homes or in our lives or just around us who have been great or who are great. And we need to remember to highlight them. And since we're in the hobby and we focus on highlighting them, Slabby has 3 daughters and a wife at home. You know what I mean? I only have 1 daughter. So, you know, Slabby lives it more than anything. And that's part of the reason too, looking at him being an amazing father to his daughter is like, okay, in what ways can I kind of hold myself accountable, you know, to where I'm being the best girl dad or representation, showing as much representation for my daughter as possible, because I don't know if I'm sending the right message or not, but I know if I'm intentional about learning and sending that message, then I know I'll be learning and getting that message across. So that started with Cindy Dick. Shout out Cindy Dick. Her IG is @GiantLegends. She has the largest collection of women artifacts and collector cards out there. just amazing woman, knows a lot, shares a lot, and just appreciate everything she's done for women in this space and continues to do.
I'm going to show everyone another Instagram video because I want people to get familiar with your content, right? That's where the real gems are. So I'm going to share this for a few minutes. Give it a second.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party.
So that's like really, really cool. So I really wanted to make a conscious effort to show this stuff on the show tonight. And for those of you that are eventually going to be listening on podcast, apologies, but you can find the content on Instagram and on the YouTube content, and as well as other areas, and we'll get into that. One real quick thing, I want to say hi to our friend Joey Oliveri. He loved Javid. He was a monster and loved watching him play. There are other fans here as well.
Yeah, Joey's from San Diego, so he's local down in California there.
And also shout out Javid real quick. He just got the head coaching job. He has a football program here, high school football program here in the Bay Area, St. Mary's. So we're excited about him getting that gig and really helping continue to change the culture at that school and
Awesome.
yeah, really support the kids in that community there.
Awesome. Sorry, Kent, go ahead.
No. So it's all good. So another one of your themes in your video content is around Black hobby history.
Yeah.
What inspired you to do that? And I think it's awesome that you do. And it's neat how we can use trading cards, change people's minds, and ensure that the heroes of the past are never forgotten.
And that's exactly what it is. And I'll tell you exactly what it was. And I love the questions that y'all ask and the images that y'all choose to present on here, because that's exactly what we're about. But the Black hobby history, to be honest with you, y'all, February came around and felt as if, aside from, first of all, shout out to all the card artists. For people who may not know, the card artists are people who create their own one-on-one masterpieces, works of art, or just stuff that makes them feel good, make others feel good, and to represent people. I feel card artists always pay homage to different cultures, races, and everybody intentionally through their work. It's never one-sided and flip-flopped. It's never for benefit. I feel like in a hobby where we have a lot of African-American athletes we make money off, that at least in the month of February, at least, even though history should be history, at least in the month of February, some of these companies and people who promote and make money off of these athletes should at least be telling their true stories on why they're great, and not just how many points they average and how much their values went up in a week. Yeah. So from that day forward, we felt like, okay, if we're going to be in this hobby, we're going to be Black hobby history. We brought music. There's a whole bunch of stuff we added to the hobby without asking anybody for any money whatsoever. And for that, not to take us apart from anybody, all is one. We're humankind. We're human beings. But to represent and to be present, because there's a lack of representation for black collectors. There's a lack of representation. They don't know it's cool. They don't know it's okay. They don't know that that it's okay to do whatever you want to do and what you want to like. So we want to represent that and be intentional about that. When it's not a slight at anybody else, it's people get it misconstrued because it's totally different than Black Lives Matter. I don't think you'll ever hear us, as much as we support all of us and Black lives and everything. We're not political or anything like that. The Black hobby history is literally, we are Black, African American. We've created history in this path. And for all the other athletes and collectors who have done so and paved the way before us, we want to honor them. And that's why we're intentional about using that hashtag and telling stories of other collectors and athletes, and really, like I said, sharing the moments and the memories about that.
So, Slabby, I'm interested in getting your opinion on that as well.
Pac, summed it up as best I think as it could be said. Like you said, it's intentional and important that we make the hobby inclusive when it comes down to it. You know, for so long it seems like the hobby has kind of been exclusive. You know, it's only a certain group that's kind of been in it and participating in it. But now, you know, it is starting to become slowly but surely inclusive, you know, and like with us doing things like bringing music, you know, and bringing a different type of culture into the hobby, you know. Not only is it important because, you know, if it's inclusive, everybody should be involved. Like Pat was saying, we have to get the kids involved, the women involved, you know, and make it about the memories and the feeling. But it helps the value of the hobby when it's inclusive, you know. And when it's exclusive and only a certain group, you know, when that group passes on, whatever happens, you know, what happens to the hobby? If it's inclusive and everybody's involved in it, it lives forever, you know?
That's a really good point. And actually,
Yeah,
there is a, and just because we're getting exposed to it more often now because of the highly political things that have happened lately, as they're saying that diversity in the workplace increases productivity and the ROI and the bottom line. So that's actually true in the hobby too, right? Because the more diverse you make your experiences and your crowd, the more you're going to attract different walks of life. And a good example of that is, Peter, or I'll call you Pack because your brother calls you Pack. The artists that are now producing work, you have female artists like Sophia Chang producing work and working for Nike and producing that kind of content. And I do think it's very important to have the female aspect as represented as well in the hobby because it'll change how people perceive things. For example, we had Susan, and I can never say her last name. We had Suze on earlier. Yeah, we had her on earlier, and she explained her point of view. And I think it's important. And part of our channel really is to promote that. So we're hoping that at the end of the day, when people watch our show, that we leave inspired. So if you're from a marginalized group or from another group or some other diverse culture, feel free to be yourself and never be afraid to be yourself, right?
Absolutely.
So, so I have a question now to talk about your content, and you kind of alluded to this earlier. So please explain to everyone how you come up with the content for your videos.
Man, this man's a madman right here. Man, I don't even know how he come up with it. It's like clockwork for him. I know me and my process is a little bit different. Him though, yeah, it's like you know, it's like when a rapper gets in the booth and freestyles and it's just fire. That's how he is. He just gets in front of a computer or a phone and content comes out. Between
you and Lamim James, I don't know if anybody can top you two. Like it's just too good. So how do you? So Pack, what is your inspiration? Like, how do you? You said your family gets involved in creating the content. Just give all of us a flavor of how you create that content.
It all depends on why I'm creating the content and for who I think I'm creating it for. Because sometimes that's what we try and do. Originally, when we were creating content for us. We said because we didn't know a hobby world existed online and on social media. It was August 2020. Go check the dates. We didn't have any content out there. Maybe a few weeks before that, you know what I mean? No hobby related content. And we said, man, the hobby's so fun. We've been doing it. We didn't know others do it. Let's see what we can do to make it fun for us. So we started making whatever our favorite movies were from growing up as children. We said, all right, let's make it card related. Right. Mm-hmm. So we had Cards in the Slab from Boys in the Hood or something like that. Paid in Full. We had a couple Boys in the Hood skits, and it was just movies. Don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. Just small little skits that we thought it was just me. Literally, at first it was Slabby and I, Marcus and I. We were like, whatever's gonna make us laugh, let's do it. So we did that, and we started just playing around with those there. And then Javid, that's when Rip said, "Man, those are hilarious. I get it. It's funny. Let's keep on doing it, and let's make music, right?" But I think now, when it comes to the creative process, I can't lie. A lot of the stuff I don't like. A lot of content creators, we don't come up with this stuff. We have original content, but a lot of this stuff online and social media is replayed. You know, you use a sound and you just put your own twist to it. So just like with the music, there wasn't anybody making music about the hobby. There was not a lot of people doing, you know what I'm saying, content on the hobby. So we just wanted to, wherever there was a void, fill that void. So we come up with original content. We have a whole bunch of original content we haven't even used yet that we're trying to say, hey, Card Killer in the building. Man, the GOAT right there. Man. That's the GOAT right there. Gonna make me forget everything I'm saying. I got a real star in the building right there. That's a real celebrity right there, man.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show some content, if you guys don't mind. So I just need to.
Not at all. Not at all. But it's definitely inspired by others. If we're not, it's definitely inspired by others. All the content, like the Target content, was all original. I don't think that was all original content. I didn't think I took anything from there. But this sound, other people use these sounds, and they, sometimes the texts may be similar and like, oh, I could turn that into a hobby. I can turn that into hobby related. That's easy. So it's some of the stuff isn't me just coming up with stuff out of thin air. It's literally I'm scrolling through. I'm like, oh, I could do that card related and make people laugh in the card hobby specifically.
And regardless,
For sure. I'll share this one. This is one of my funniest ones.
Yeah, this was good.
Work here and fired you. It still don't work here. It just goes to call Mars. I could explain it. Step out the vehicle.
And then I'll show you a couple more, and I'll before I go into other questions. There's one here I'm trying to find, which I died laughing. Where was it? Oh yeah, this one's a good one.
That's a good one. Yes, that's a good one too.
Damn it! This job is too much work. I need a break. I'm sick of this place. I just did a whole bunch of work. What are you talking about?
Like some of the stuff you come up with, like there's so many here. I can't pick them all, but I'll share some that makes it. Oh yeah, this one's a good one too.
Let's wake the Packman. I'm up, grab my packs from off the wax. Let's go. Before I rip, can't forget to thank the wax man for giving me this daily wax and these prison packs. What's for breakfast? I gotta have my ops. Select toast crunch, prism smacks across.
I'll see if I find one more, and then we'll go back to more questions. Just give me 1 sec. Oh yeah, this is another good one.
I don't know what else to tell you, man. Those are just our rates. I can't tell you why they're the price that they are. We don't set the rates. We just tell you what they are. I don't know what else to tell you.
So it's like, so just for the general public, I'm having too much fun here. So it's kind of hard to show what you're showing for the podcasters out there. For those who are watching us live, every day there's content. There's something like that. And if I could probably spend the entire show just going over your content, but of course that's what Instagram's there for. I want to replicate Instagram. I'm going to say hi to Card Killer one more time, just to make sure I call that out.
Yeah.
And then Peeps, I forget who this is, but I'm going to call you out as well. But we'll go to some other questions as well. So there's another one you created from the where you're asking folks about what card ladder is. So let me share the video, and then I'll ask you the questions after. So when you came up with this video, I want to ask you one question. You guys think of your answer. How did you come up with the idea? Did Chris give you any kickbacks for doing so? And also, Chris has to got to help you out with some props, some I don't know, something to make like up for like this is awesome content. So let me share this for everyone.
If I ask you what is a card ladder, what would you say? Card ladder. What's a card ladder? What is a card ladder? Jacob, what is a card ladder? Like card. You what? Card? Yeah. What'd you say, Jacob? Yeah. Okay. Oh, bro. What?
So, I want to ask you. So, how did that idea come about? Does Chris know you're doing it? And just explain that whole preface.
Yep. So yes, Chris knows we're doing it. I think I had some other card ladder memes and stuff maybe last year that I put out there just for funny to shout them out because card ladders have been around for a while and they're really I feel a staple in the hobby and they have been a staple in the hobby for a while. Like even with the hype, without the hype, they're going to be here, not going anywhere. They're needed. They're of value, right? So I always like to include them in a positive light in our content. Specifically that, yes, we have I'm going to be giving away, they've allowed us to give away a free card ladder membership from our platform for 1 year to one of our followers who participate in our hobby game show. So part of our card ladder content is just to get some of our followers who may not know about card ladder more in tune with what card ladder is. I have a lot of videos where I asked a lot more kids that question, and even earlier in the week, I was asking kids those same questions, and some of them actually went home and did research and found out what it was. So when I asked them a second time, they said they didn't know, but then they remembered, oh yeah, the card ladder with the cards. So it's just showing that just by saying it, even one kid might go look and might be interested in it. So it was just a social experiment and be able to use it as content and for it to be funny too. So, but yeah.
So how did you meet Chris and the Card Ladder crew? Through Instagram?
Yeah, through Instagram. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Through Instagram. Always show love. Christina, Chris, always show love. Always.
For sure. And Josh as well too with his
Josh, I used to think Josh was like Jay-Z or something. You can only get to him through like 20 different people. But then he finally started, like, I don't pay attention to followers, but Josh started following me like last week or 2 weeks ago. So I said, oh God, okay, I think we doing something right if Josh following us, because he don't follow too many people. You know what I mean? So, but nah, real talk though, Chris and Christina specifically, both of them always share, shout out, show love, comment. They're just real organic with the love. I've spoken with Chris via Clubhouse before and just showered him with praise and appreciation more than anything. I don't know if I've been able to have a real hobby conversation with him yet, but just appreciate all they've done for the hobby and they continue to do, because they're irreplaceable. I don't know how the hobby would survive without them. I don't know.
It's interesting. So I'm a hockey collector, so I'm just dying to get more into it. So I'm waiting for more content. But it's funny because I got introduced to Chris through our friend Jeremy, who's actually watching right now from Sports Cards Live.
Jeremy.
Yeah, so Jeremy's how I got introduced to Chris. And then Josh was someone I had followed on Instagram and on YouTube for a long time. So this is going to sound really weird and more fanboyish, but Josh is one of my one of my hobby heroes. I love his content.
Same here. Before we know who Josh was on Instagram, we used to watch his content for years, but we were like closet collectors. So we were finally able to put an Instagram name with the face and with the business. And it was, wow, that's him. So,
he does. I don't think he realizes how intelligent his shows are and the type of questions and the content. It's amazing. He was one of the inspirations for me and Kent to do this show.
That's what's up.
And I actually, speaking of getting impressed, Chris from House of Jordans from Card Ladder liked one of our posts with you today. So I'm like, woohoo! Anyway, sorry, gonna act all not impressed. Yeah, sorry, just.
But that's the most organic part of the hobby back from when we were kids. That same energy that you just exuded and showed, that's like going into our local LCS right now, or when we were kids and our guy Jim giving us an autographed card or just telling us a story about something that we would have never known, and we got excited about, like, wow, you just put us that much closer to something that we think is so cool. So that part of the hobby, that energy and that exchange is, man, I love it. I love it.
Strange, not strange, but isn't it so cool how the synergies between people have increased? Well, not only with COVID, but social media side, right? Social media, everyone's accessible, right? Then COVID, everyone went online and even more into social media. So I find that at least from my perspective, I've made way more connections in the past, I would say since March of last year. I've made way more connections on the social side of things. And then I wouldn't have met you or known you guys until I got exposed to it. So I feel like the whole hobby center has gotten smaller, but more tighter. And I want to know your thoughts on that.
That's crazy. I was just telling Slabby, I don't know if y'all noticed, but I'm actually loving this dip in value. I mean, I know there's a lot of people losing money, but for those people who've been around for a while, it's like, it's still good, right? You've been sitting on your stuff for a while, so you're good. So I'm loving it, because just like we thought, a lot of people who may or may not have been in here for the right reasons. I don't care if you were just in here for the money. Good. I hope you got your money and you got out, right? Or you're still in it, whatever. I don't care what you're in here for, because you're not going to impact how we appreciate the hobby and what we do. Right. But I love how now I feel like there's less people in the hobby. There's still more people coming in, but now I feel like it's only or mostly the most purest organic creators out there. I don't hear a lot of the fluff and a lot of the hype and BS anymore. It's just that pure, real hobby, stacking slabs, card ladder, just the realness out there. And I think that's what we all need for people just coming into the hobby. If they gravitate towards those beings, you know what I mean, then they'll be fine. They'll be in the hobby for a long time. So I'm happy that, like you said, it's a small core, but it's more people being added, but it adds value. And I feel it brings value, and it changes the culture of the hobby. We are thankful for y'all shit and everybody else who's from Stacking Slabs, I think was one of the first Niner card collector to share their platform with us. And like we said, honestly, not even for being new in the hobby, but for also being Black in the hobby and African American in the hobby. You know what I mean? And for people to help, to share us, to help, to support us, to share us, to like us, to share their platform with us. We have so much gratitude and appreciation for any and everybody who does that, because we've never seen it before. You know what I mean? It has not something so common. It's maybe because there's not enough out there, but whatever the reason is, it makes us feel good. So that close knit of people are always the same ones sharing us, communicating with us in the DMs. You know what, I'm hitting LOLs, and we're doing the same with them. So shout out to the hobby and to everybody too, man. There's a lot of supporters out there.
And that shows how
really. Sorry, go ahead, Slabby.
I was saying, it just shows how pure the hobby is, because I remember when we first got into the hobby and started kind of being online and creating content. For me, I was literally taken off guard and almost like how much love we were getting. Like, even to this day, it's surreal to me, the fact that so many people support us and show us love. Like, it doesn't seem real to me, you know, and because like Pac said, we never really experienced that, just to come into a new place, a new space, and just to be accepted pretty much. You know, it's surreal. It's a great feeling.
That's awesome to hear. And I'll tell you one thing, just to show how cool it is to know people. Like, I didn't even think you guys would return my DM when I messaged you that one time, and you did right away. And I was like, whoa, this is weird. But I remember your content led me down like a rabbit hole where I started looking up the Giants. The lady you said that the Giants of cardboard, like I started following her, and then there were some other people you were following, and I wouldn't have been able to find them if I had not known you. So it's really interesting. It's like the hobby. It's going to sound corny, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's a mathematical term. It's like a fractal. So the fractal, every time you look at a fractal, it gets more and more complicated, right? And more beautiful as it goes. So as we dive in deeper, we get to see that beauty, right? So, and if you guys hadn't exposed us to that, I would not have seen it. So we're going to give a couple of, see if anybody's writing anything in here in the comments. Give me 1 second. You see Card Killer and Jeremy are saying hi to each other. And
shout out Jeremy and Card Killer. We've been following Jeremy content on YouTube for a while. I've been a fan of Card Killers for so long. It's crazy. And now I actually am on the share a platform, a podcast with him and Donnie B Collectibles, Outside the Wax. So that's just surreal to me, because just like you, I thought Card Killer was unreachable. I didn't think I would ever speak to him, communicate with him, and now it's like I can call him whenever I want to.
It's also funny because Jeremy and I and Kent, you know, before the internet, I'm just kidding, before Instagram and all that stuff, we used to set up next to each other at card shows. I've known Jeremy for 15 years at least, maybe a little bit longer.
Y'all legends in the game, man. Y'all got legs in the game, man. I listen in and hear Jeremy tell stories, and I'm like, man, we're still new. We may have been collecting for a while, but we're not as exposed as y'all. So I love hearing these stories.
So one thing I wanted to point out, so we have Indigenous Rookie Card name. So he said, I share a lot of your content on my personal Instagram, and I get so many great reactions from my non-collector friends and family. And for those of you who don't know, name featured Indigenous Rookie Cards, as the name says. Sorry, name is his name. Sorry.
Also an educator. That's my guy.
Also an educator. We've had him on as well. And Name will be back on June 1st. Because June in Canada, I don't know if it's Canada or across nationally, but it's a National Indigenous History Month, so we want to make sure we have him back to have some content about that. Anyway, Name wanted to give that shout out to you.
Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, appreciate you.
I mentioned earlier that we talk about hockey and we love hockey and eat and breathe hockey, and all I do is I play around with my hockey cards. I still have my old school hockey cards here, and you guys produced a video which was near and dear to my heart. So I'm going to play this video, and I'm going to talk about how this thing happened.
Okay. Which one we got here?
Easy, bro. Nice and easy, bro. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, you can hit it again.
I'm pulling the rookie from the
Yeah,
wax.
good job.
We going pack to pack. He got no ring, but he got the stats. We going pack.
So in case people, sorry, I'm going to just pause that. So it's a video on Instagram
Crazy.
of
See him?
Pac playing hockey. So I know hockey isn't as widely followed in some areas. And when I saw that, I was like, whoa, you guys are actually showing some hockey moves here. So explain the video and the genesis behind it.
Long story short, we're from the Bay Area, California. We don't have ice. We've never been exposed to a lot. Even other than that, we haven't been exposed to a lot of activities and sports, whether it's because our parents didn't know about it and they didn't expose it to us, or we didn't have access or the resources to it to expose them to it. So we both were fortunate to grow up with this guy named Keith Allison, who exposed us to a lot of things we may have not ever been exposed to. So as an educator, someone who works on these school campuses, I told myself, whenever we can expose these children or give them something that may be able to help at least one of them, we're going to do it. So part of that was hockey this year, adding hockey to the playground so that any kids that want to play it as a release, as for fun, or even to become good at it, they have that option and it's there for them and I can learn with them. So now I think we just started that like 3 or 4 weeks ago on school campus, and there's 2 kids whose family has found ice in California and are going to take them. Yeah, sign them up. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. So there it goes right there.
The NHL will thank you forever for this, I'm sure, somewhere down the road. But one thing
There's a lot of people doing that all over. I'm not the only one. I've heard stories about other people in different parts of the country introducing hockey. You know, I've watched movies and documentaries in New York and Atlanta of community leaders or people who work, you know what I'm saying, in the community and bring kids to the ice to give them that, as after school program. So I've seen it. And if those kids can do it, if those people can do it, if I'm able to do it within my means and what we have, then we're going to make it happen.
So one thing I wanted to point out, which I'll admit is in my error, I was creating these lists of questions and I completely forgot of this one thing. I really want you to kind of explain what you do for a living and the lives you touch. And Slabby, you can do the same thing as well. So start off with you, Pac. Just let everyone know, what do you do for a living? Because I think it's important to understand that.
My title is Dean of Students at a K-8 school in Richmond, California, Montalban and Maynard, California. I've been a part of that community specifically for, probably close to 10 years now. Not consecutively, but I used to work there for another nonprofit organization as pretty much just the recess coach, and really not just a caring, consistent adult, not just a recess coach, somebody who was there to encourage boys and girls to play, to be their best, to nobody's left alone at recess. All games are inclusive. We're using positive language. So that was the organization I was working for. And through that organization and other places I've worked, I built solid relationships with a lot of communities and principals. And after trying to go into the corporate world of the nonprofit sector, it wasn't for me. It took me too far away from the bread and butter. I was only able to go into the principal office and talk to the principal, and the kids would come in and there'll be stuff going on and they need me there. And that wasn't my job anymore, and I missed it. So, I took a chance, man, and I let that part of the job go, and I became an independent contractor. I don't have a college degree. I'm not the typical dean of students, and I did on my contract, I didn't put the title dean of students down. This was the title that the principal felt that was best for me for this community specifically. So my role specifically, when you're not watching me on camera, it's intervention, climate, culture and climate, and then just being that caring, consistent adult on campus, being that liaison, helping build relationships, model certain behaviors. But on the stuff that y'all see helps build the rapport with the kids, the playing, the being there. When you play with kids, you stay young, you know what's going on, they trust you more, they tell you more. So I purposely make myself present and make myself available as part of my role now to make sure I'm making sure recess in the hallways, and as well as everybody, other staff that help too, but that all those places are as safe and inclusive as possible. But yeah, I'm the dean at a K-8. I also coach high school basketball, JV basketball. I've been doing that for just as long. That's what pays the bills, though. The dean of students at the K through 8.
Awesome. So Slabby, why don't you tell us what you do?
Man, you should have had me go first. I can't follow up with that. I got a regular job. Nah, I work for a uniform company. It's a sales service rep, but pretty much I'm just a driver. I drive and deliver uniforms and mats and interact with customers all day. That's what I do.
College degree, though. See, he got the paperwork. I don't have the paperwork. See, he could do a whole lot of stuff I still can't do. You know what I mean? So
I still want to give you a lot of both of you props only for your content, but your passion, Pack, I can feel it. Even though you're in California and I'm in Toronto, and we just found that out when we last chatted, that we found out where each other are. I feel your passion, and I can just imagine, you're a positive influence to kids. So forget the cards for a second, forget a hobby for a second. I appreciate you for doing that, because I can imagine, as a young child, I had my issues and I never had that kind of adult around to help me. So I can definitely see the experience being a positive one. I can see through your videos, you're trying really hard. So at the end of the day, you being the good soul that you are, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I hope that, you, even if you touch one or two children, or kids, I should say, and they go on to do bigger and better and badder things. Thanks, man.
thank you. Appreciate that. And I'll just send a shout out and thanks to everybody who I learned from, who helped mold me. And I was able to take a piece of what I liked from them and add to my tool belt, because I wouldn't be who I am or what I am if it wasn't for those people who helped me, because I wasn't the same person when I was 18 as I am today.
For sure.
For human beings. So, yeah.
So go ahead, Kent. You have some questions.
Yeah, so there's a video, and we think it's pure genius. It's about Michael Kramer, and you're trying to soft sleeve one of our hobby goats. Why is Michael Kramer important to you? What's the importance to you?
Cool. Oh, that's the come on, must
Don't
we
get
start?
started.
Yeah, that's something. We're gonna go over 2 hours with Michael Kramer with this. Michael Kramer, it started with the hit, just going back and relearning and trying to. I love every time Slabby and I get stuck in a rabbit hole, or we want something new with the hobby, we go back and we start from where we think is square one, or we challenge ourselves to maybe this wasn't the first, or maybe this wasn't, or who created this, or why did they create it, or who were they inspired by, what was going on during that time of the world. We ask the craziest questions to each other when we're doing this research, and we wanted to know, well, what was the first prism? Wait a second, it wasn't Panini, right? So duh, I mean, we all know this back, like we knew it, but well, who was it? Well, what was he about? What did he do? And his life, from what I've read and from what I've interpreted, and shout out to Jeremy on here, who sent me several links of guys who've actually found Kramer and who are now interviewing him. But it started from just realizing he was a guy behind Revolution, Prism, a lot of the cards that we still chase today. Every time somebody breaks a box of Prism, they should say his name. Anytime Panini drop, I don't care if they bought him out. I don't care. For historical purposes and to add value and to teach the hobby, you should say his name. Say the man's name. We wouldn't have Prism. We wouldn't have Revolution. We wouldn't have Crown Royale. We wouldn't have some of these configurations that we see if not for Kramer. But I think it was more so his integrity and his work ethic that stands out the most, and also how he included his wife, and his wife was part of his early success in his world, and also his father was part of his early success. His father supported him. He worked hard with his uncle while his wife ran parts of the business for him before he just did a whole lot, and his story is just amazing. And not only can I relate to certain aspects of it, it makes me think about so many other kids at my school who can say, "Oh, I can grab a camera and do that." Or I might be able to do something simple just by hearing his story. So, and then showing him his cards, like, yeah, this is his story. And then here goes some of his boxes of cards too at the same time.
Oh, there you go.
They're all over here. You know what I mean? They're all over here.
There you go. Yep.
Literally all over here. So it's just, and then it's also cool to be able to tell people nowadays, like, okay, you have Prism today, but before Prism draft picks, it was Prism draft picks. Like, I like being able to show people and tell people the story. Like, to me, it just adds that little bit of
value.
It adds value, yeah.
So I'll show. I'm going to show the video that we're talking about. and this is probably in my top 5 of your videos that you have. So let me just share this.
Yeah. The comments for me? Yeah.
Wait for it to refresh.
Hey. Calm your stupid ass down. What's wrong with you? I know. Yeah. The comments for me? Yeah.
So what I love about it is just a funny video, but like first world problems. Soft sleeving a card is a first world problem in our life.
Problem, exactly.
You're like you're doing everything right because you don't want to bend the corners. You some people do that flick thing where they're try and flick the corner out, and then nothing worse when you have a super card that's like condition sensitive, like the older one, and you nick that corner and you saw it because you can spot a nicked corner on a card.
Yeah,
you'll miss a dent in a car. Completely miss a dent. But you will notice a nick in a card, or you'll notice a streak or something. And when people are top loading, and that feeling like, oh god, I just ruined this card. So, thanks for producing that.
And shout out Card Killer, because after I made that video, Card Killer sent me a video of something that he did similar like 2 years ago, and I had never seen it before, but he sent it to me, and I actually have a few videos like that, and it's confirmation that great minds think alike. So shout out my guy Card Killer for that one too.
So he's gonna say hi to Peeps again. So he says he has some hilarious content. He hadn't seen it yet, and he's from the Bay Area, so we're spreading the love.
What's happening, man? Yeah, we man, we on the same soil.
We're talking about the corner flick. Okay, sorry. Kent, let's get into some of the cooler parts. And guys, we're at an hour. Are you okay to keep going still?
Yep, we good.
Yeah. Awesome. All right.
So Kent, let's get into the cool music.
Go for it.
So, how many albums have you guys made so far?
0
albums, just a lot of songs.
So let's give everybody a flavor for type of the music you created and how you came about it and the video game. So give us a little flavor about that.
Yeah, we have 18 songs out right now. Probably have another 18 that we haven't released yet, and probably 30 more that we could release, and they're all hobby exclusive songs. Right. And that's the only thing, because it's fun to us, it's cool to us.
That's our audience.
That's our audience. We're not trying to be. We have our professions and our jobs and other endeavors that we would like. Rapping might have been it maybe in 8th grade, 9th grade. I never tried it, but it was like, oh, if I can somehow learn how to rap, I'd be a rapper. Right. But I never tried to. I was always that friend in the back of the studio that would be like, I'm not trying it. I never got on the microphone a day of my life.
Get in the booth.
In the booth. But Slabby tells the story better than me.
Oh man!
So while you tell the story, Slabby, I'm just showing everyone on Apple Music.
You know how the music came along.
When the music pretty much it started off, we were doing the content, as Pac was saying, with the making content that we think we would like, and then we were like, Pac one day was he sent me like I think he called me. He was like, hey, listen to this freestyle I just did talking about the hobby. But it was like a comedy, we were like
a parody.
A parody.
Right?
Yeah, it was like a parody, I can't. What song was it?
It was some Lil Wayne song and Drake song, and I just took their words and made it hobby related because I don't rap. I don't know. I did. Now I can do it my own, but I didn't know how to do it. So I was like, let me copy other people's. That's what comedians do. I'm trying to be funny, so let me copy somebody else's and do it.
Right. Yeah. And then I think I was singing on it, and I can't sing for shit. I'm sorry, I can't sing for anything. So that just shows you where we're going with it. Before we could even do that, though, Javi Rip reached out to us, was like, "Hey, bro, I love what y'all doing, man. This content is funny. I love it. Y'all ever thought about doing music? I'm gonna send y'all some beats." So me and Pac are like, "All right, whatever. We'll do some parody rap over the beats, And Job's like, "Nah, really try and rap, you know what I'm saying? Really try and rap." So I think the first song I think Job sent the chorus. He sent the beat. Yeah, he sent the beat. Then he sent the chorus with it. He wrote the hook to it. And we were like, oh, he's serious. Because it was like a real.
And he did at the time. He didn't collect. So Javid literally had to put in hours and hours of just research on the hobby just to be able to make his hooks because it was all new to him still. You know what I mean? He just knew about signing the stickers on the cards and giving them away. That's all he knew about the cards. So
that's what was crazy too. Yeah, like the first few songs that he sent us, like he didn't really know about the hobby, but you go back and listen to it.
You can't tell.
You can't tell.
You wouldn't be able to tell.
You know, I just shows you like, you know, he dug deep into it, you know, and did his research. But yeah, it kind of started like that. Graves, Job sent the first hook, and we were like, oh, he's serious. So
that's
we wrote,
awesome.
you know, and I think for us,
we were trying to be funny.
Yeah,
right?
trying to be funny. It was still like whatever. Job just kept on sending heat after heat after heat. So we were like, all right. We can't joke around with this. Is, you know, we got to really, really try. And then Job kept on encouraging us too. Like, nah, like this is good, you know. Because me and Pete, like, we're not rappers, you know. But Job was like, nah, this is good content. This is good, you know. And he just kept on sending this heat.
That's awesome. So can you give us? So you mentioned this on the last time we chatted. So I know you're creating your own video game, and it's tied into some packaging and materials. And I've seen. You know, there's paper, there's RPS paper. So tell everyone what you're doing.
Man, we're trying to continue adding value to the hobby. And we're trying, like I said, wherever we feel children, women, human beings, it may gravitate them. It may allow them to come add their own value. It may allow them to come be amused or entertained. It may allow them to come collect. We just want to be a bridge and introduce other people, and whether it's that through music, through comedy, through video games, you know, even if you're buying something from us, we're not selling a $10,000 card, right, or a $20,000 card. We may be I don't know how much the game gonna cost. We haven't even got that yet. But even with our hoodies, we're not just selling hoodies. They're coming in their own, like people have seen RPS packaging. You're gonna have to rip the pack. We can't tell you what's gonna be inside or what's not gonna be inside, but it's gonna be worth getting a hoodie, and it's gonna be an experience. We want everything to be an experience. We've mimicked a lot. We've learned and studied a lot from the GOATs and greats. There's more than just Kramer in the hobby, and there's certain aspects of configurations and of certain things that haven't been brought back and reintroduced to the hobby that we're just waiting to have some fun with, and also some new things too. So yeah.
When are you going to be releasing that?
Rappers always say soon, so soon.
I want a hoodie. I'm telling you right now, straight up. I want a hoodie.
I'm gonna tell you right now, y'all might be the cutoff, but anybody who really organically helped us out, y'all already got one put to the side for y'all. So don't worry about it. And y'all gonna get y'all's. You're gonna get to unbox it and, you know, have fun with it. So don't worry about that, man. Y'all
okay, awesome.
Y'all good.
I also wanted to ask you a fun question. And so at the last few card shows, you've actually not bought one card, correct?
Yep.
So when was the last time you bought a card?
So the last Dallas card show, I went to a local card show 3-4 weeks ago, and I bought these 4 packs here. I bought a 75 pack, a 76 pack, and 2 12-13 contenders packs. But other than that, no, at the Dallas shows, we did not buy any cards.
So how did you manage to have such willpower?
What's the reasoning behind not buying a pack?
I mean,
several.
Yeah, I think for us, it's a little different. Like most people get a rush from ripping packs. We hate ripping packs, honestly. We hate ripping packs. And personally, for me, just going there, it was never been a card before. So
right.
I didn't want to go there and just start spending money left and right. I kind of just wanted to soak it all in, just enjoy the experience of being there among so many people in the hobby, you know?
Yeah. But I think another thing too, the first 2 times we went, it was leisure, but also business as well too. And shout out Hobby Connectors with Rez and O and the whole gang, Dario, Lacey, Cam. Hobby Connectors has this great project where they're aligning a lot of the athletes and celebrities with some of the collectors, and we linked up with them. We got something going with them where we help doing music with them and just a lot of content with them at the same time. So we were side by side with them, just really learning the ways of the hobby and how to maneuver. So we were really just spectators, for lack of a better phrase. But we'll be back on Thursday just as strictly. I can't promise you I'm not going to buy a card. I probably will leave with more than a few. We're going strictly to have fun this weekend for sure. So I'll probably leave with some, if the price is right. And also prices are too high nowadays.
Oh yeah.
Back when we were buying cards, it was affordable. I buy cards that are affordable. So if they have some Pacific and Kramer cards there, I'll probably take advantage. They can mark up those and I'll still buy them. But other than that,
Yeah, we're married now, so if we buy a box for $400, we're not gonna have a house to live in.
yeah, a purse got to come with that.
We got to be careful.
For sure. So we're almost at the end of the show, and I want to make sure we touch on a few things. What is the one thing you want people to take away from your music and videos? If you had to pick one thing, each of you.
People, go ahead.
I mean, just the joy, you know. Like I was saying, I think when we got into the hobby, like I said, the love was so pure. It really did something to us. I feel, you know. So I think I just want people to feel the love, you know. Like you hear Pac speak, it's with passion. Everything he says, he does it with passion. It's with a purpose, you know. That's what we want people to feel. We want people to enjoy, to not be afraid to come into the hobby, you know. We opening like games, music, comedy, everything, you know, opening every bridge to come into the hobby, you know. We don't want anybody to feel afraid to come into the hobby, whether it's a singer, you know, a songwriter, an actor, no matter what it is.
Awesome. Pac?
I feel it's exactly, I have to piggyback off Slabby and sum it up and say, we want people to know that they can add value too, that they can add value in any shape, form, or fashion, that they are valuable in their regular life, in the hobby, and that you don't have to spend money, or you don't have to have a card, or you don't have to do what everybody else is doing. There's so many different aspects of the hobby. Shout out the collectors, shout out the investors, the flippers, the collectors, the rippers, the breakers, the card artists, the creators, the content, the people who supply information, who give information so people can make the right buys or all that. We feel just want to know that you're able to be whoever you want to be and what you want to add to. You can make music if you want to now. Right. You don't even have to collect a card if you don't want to. Look how you can look. You can do what you want with cards now. Like, you don't have to worry about what everybody. Have fun. Be you. What makes you feel good? What makes you laugh? Make people feel. It's all about making people feel, man.
So another question. Sorry, I just realized I went over your question. Go ahead.
No, that's all right. So it's a question for both of you. If you had a dream duet, who would your duet dream be with?
A duet, like singing, or
yeah, man.
If we had to do a song with somebody,
yeah, famous. Who would your dream duet person would be? Who would that be?
It can't be Slabby or Rip,
right?
No,
have to be someone else.
Jake the Greater, another collector art. I'm sorry, I can't pick. It's gonna have to be a production company, one of these labels, and people. They're gonna have to pick for us, because if it's up to me, I'm gonna pick one of the card artists or one of the people who've been organically down with us. I can't even shout anybody else out. It wouldn't be right because they haven't. Right. I will shout out Paul Wall though. Paul Wall. The People's Champ has been showing RPS mad love. He's even made some teacher appreciation videos for my teachers at my school and my students. So as far, I'll give Paul Wall a shout out. I'll do a song with Paul. We'll do a song with Paul Wall because he for sure he likes our content, comments on our content. I talk to him every now and then. He always laughing and making jokes about cards. So, and that it strictly came from cards. I knew who he was, but he didn't know who we were, and somehow he stumbled upon our page, and he always shows love. So for sure, Paul Wall. But other than that, Jake, my guy Jake in the hobby, everybody know who he is. He can do everything. That's who we're gonna do an album with when it's all said and done.
Awesome. What about you, Slabby? Same answer?
Same answer, yep. Same
answer. Okay. So yeah. There's one thing I wanted to mention.
Some other family members will get on the mic. Like our dad did a song too. So
that's real pops. Pops,
our dad, sure, it was a solo song, so we got to get a song with our dad. That'd be the one right there.
There you
go. Jeremy's asking a question. How about Victory Investments?
Oh, hey, my guy Victory Investments. Shout out Victory Investments. I've been watching that guy's documentaries and content on YouTube for so long. I love his perspective. He's also somebody that highlights all cultures, creeds, and races throughout the year. He don't wait till February. I'm not going to say too much. I'm not going to say much of his personal life, but he's for sure an advocate for people. I will say that. And I just love him as a human being, Jeremy. Like that guy. Oh, yeah. And he makes skits when he has time and raps too when he has time. Any and everybody who wants to make somebody laugh or cry or make somebody feel, we with it. You know what I mean? If it's for the hobby and for the kids and for the hobby, we good. We with it. As long as it's hobby related. We can't be on here cussing, and if we're gonna make it rain, it got to be cards. Everything got to be hobby related, you know.
I don't think I could try to do what you do, but let me try. There we go. So one thing I wanted to point out while we're joking, there is something serious. We want to point out that the Best family have a charitable foundation called the Best Foundation. So I actually want to share it. While I'm sharing it, I want you to both talk about it because this is something I find really cool. Like, it's just really cool. I don't have something like this for our family, and I would love to do something like this. So let me share it, and please talk about it.
All right. So in 2010, when Javid was first selected to play in the NFL, it was actually the Best Foundation was originally created by him, his sister, a couple other their friends, Leslie, Brandon. And they all went in on it. It started out in Detroit. And I actually wasn't a part of it. I was still working with kids, still doing my career out here. You know what I mean? We're all family, but they were out in Detroit and they had that initiative going. When he retired from the game of football, came back to the Bay, I think we all had a family reunion like 5 or 6 years ago, 7 years ago. And I said, hey, I'm doing all this work in the community. I have all these relationships in the community that I've been building for years and years. We should relaunch the Best Foundation. And him and his sister, Lori, there she go right there, said, yeah, of course. There go my guy, Hong. Hong is the mayor of Oakland, California. He's not the real mayor, if y'all don't know, but that's my brother right there, Hong. The guy all the way to the right in the burgundy jacket. That's my brother from another mother. Me and that guy have done so much work in the community. He's taught me so much, connected me to so much people. A lot of the people think because Jav is my cousin is how I get all these cool connections. It's really because of Hong. It's not because of Javid. But we relaunched the Best Foundation in efforts to align resources to those who need it the most. And those people who know of us, who know what we do, like I said, we align it. I don't think we do any of the great work, but align it. We know of a lot of people. Shout out Card Clean Out. Card Clean Out sends boxes of cards to my school every month. The cards y'all see in the video are because of him. So we just align the resources to the communities. People, we hear of a need and we try and make sure we let our giving community know about that need. And if they're able to give, they're able to give and help. If not, we spread the word and hopefully there's a lot of people in this community who help and give back. We're real small on what we do, but it takes, everybody has to do their part. So we're just doing our small part in what we do.
You need to put a bio up there, buddy. You gotta put your bio up on that page. So we're coming up just over an hour, and I'm going to ask my favorite question of the show. First of all, before I even go there, I'm going to let everyone know that on Sunday, May 23rd, we have Ken Reed coming on to do some busting packs. We're going to talk live. And we have the virtual expo. So Pete and Slabby, or Pack and Slabby, we have a virtual expo happening on June 19th and 20th. We would love for you to come and check us out there. Check the link. You can do it virtually from your own home. But before I go any further, I want to thank you very, very, very much for coming on the show. We're not a huge show, and we love to do things for fun. You guys are awesome to talk to. I can't wait to talk to you again. You guys are an inspiration to us, and keep doing what you do. So I'm going to leave you both. Since you're both here, I'm going to ask you both the question. I want to know an answer from the bottom of your heart. So, Slabby, we'll start with you, and then Pack, you can answer after. What inspires you?
When it's family, honestly, that's easy. Like literally, that's why I wake up. That's why I'm thankful. That's easy for me, family, and it started from when I was young. Like we've been at the whole time, but it's real. Family's been my whole life. Like for me, growing up, we were all close. Like Pack was saying, my cousins were my brothers. And that's continued for me getting my own family. You know, I wake up every morning. I have to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning every morning. I literally wake up with a smile on my face because the first thing that pops into my mind is that I'm thankful to be alive and I'm thankful that my family's healthy and alive. You know, so that's easy for me, family.
Pack?
Yeah, I can try and go off that, but I can't. One of our other cousins, Shell, always taught us, man, me before you, after family only. So family inspires us first and foremost, but for me too, the children that I engage with on a daily basis at my job. It's not really a job for me in the community. They inspire me too. I wouldn't be who I am if not for them. So they're like an extension of my family. So shout out to the family and the community for sure.
Awesome. Those were awesome answers. I had a feeling you would say that, but I didn't. I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to hear from yours.
Yeah, this is a corny answer with us. Yeah,
it's all good. So it's at the hour and 14-minute mark. I'm going to sign off soon. Again, this is awesome, but I want to do that thing again. We're going to sign off. We're going to do the card flip, and then I want you guys to stay in the studio, and we'll talk after the show is over. So let me know when you're ready, Pack.
I can't do it. I don't have the cards in front of me, but you guys go.
Okay, Pack, you ready?
Thank y'all.
No, thank you.
Okay, so everybody, thanks for signing in, and have a great time with cards.
Hello.
Cheers, Joe.
All right. Everyone have a good night.